So as Director General of A.I.S.E, I have the pleasure to bring you to the journey where we started 60 years ago. So the pleasure of being able to look back, to pause a moment where we are on the achievements, but also I think there is a call to look in the future, as the title is clearly saying, to give some visions about where we see ourselves. So now this is always the most challenging moment. The wrong button. Here we are. So as I said, our journey began in '52. We are probably one of the oldest associations here in Brussels. The association was created by 5 members, so there were at local level even associations which were created long before us. The association and their journey went through different pillars. The association itself, the network of the association, products, innovation, economy, and legislation. The association itself was founded by 5 members, signed in Antwerp, and had the headquarters in Paris. It was not called A.I.S.E, it was called A.I.S. The structure was very simple, 5 countries. Today, we are 39 countries. The task mainly on statistics, nomenclature, and trade. So here, that's the network of today. In terms of objective, I think the same objectives as today prevail. Satisfy the consumer, their needs on cleanliness, give benefits on hygiene in and outside the home. So not much has changed in terms of what the industry wishes to deliver. What is at heart of the industry? It's a permanent wish to innovate in order to satisfy the consumer's needs. So it started from natural soaps to synthetic detergents, low foam, enzymes, biodegradable surfactants, cleaning in places for I&I, automatic compacted tablets, soluble wrappers, oxygen-based cleaners, liquid tablets, and looking now also on sustainable renewable materials. So some of them are outside, and I would like to invite you during the coffee break to look on what has been there and also on the screen which is presented. Innovation at the heart. In terms of market, I think the all-over market in Europe has also changed. Looking back over the last 6 years, so Europe is still a big market. Nevertheless, other emerging markets are catching up. So there are also changes in trends in where the detergent market is going. It's in the household sector, it's about 20,000 billion, but it's quite stable, stagnant. And I was a month ago in Singapore at the World Detergent Conference, and there was another wind. I could feel there the trend, the market are going to be in the next future. In terms of legislative environment, things have changed. I think when the association started, hardly any legislation was there. Now, and I only show a couple of them, you have REACH, biocides, detergent legislation, packaging, waste, classification, unit pricing, General Product Safety Directive, and so far. It's a long list, and in this environment, the industry has to operate. But there's also one very important thing which we celebrated this year. I think you're all thinking in terms of money we are spending on the European Union. It's a lot of money. But I think we also have to keep in mind the whole system. We have peace here. And this year, the European Union got the Nobel Prize in Peace. And I think everything has a price to be paid. And I think this is also something we need to remind. Despite all the legislative environment, I think one of our masterpiece is the proactivity and voluntary actions which are at the heart of the industry. So there is the part I said I'm looking back. Now I'm going to pause and say, what have we done? What is the political environment? So in '87, in the first time, the concept of sustainable development had been developed and mentioned in the Brundtland report. During this time, A.I.S.E started to work on environmental risk assessment. So the first workshop on environmental risk assessment took place. In '92, the first Rio Summit or Air Summit took place, mainly talking about GHS, so the global system, global harmonized system. In this time, A.I.S.E started to work on things like with the surfactants manufacture on A.I.S.E, on human and environmental risk, HERA, so it's kind REACH before REACH. We worked on the code of environmental practice. We worked also on consumer campaigns like Wash Right. We continued to work on, and during the period of Rio 92 and Rio +20 in 2012, we developed our most comprehensive scheme, the Charter for Sustainable Cleaning. It's encompassing life cycles, manufacturing, the product itself. Oh, I jumped the slide, sorry. So this is the track record of our voluntary initiatives. And when you look to our program, if you fold it out, you have the line with all the voluntary initiatives. So don't invite to open it now, otherwise your neighbor won't see anything anymore. But feel free to do it during the lunch. So here's the track record of all the voluntary initiatives we have done, with the most encompassing one, which is the Charter for Sustainable Cleaning, starting with the raw material, natural resources, consumer, disposal waste, so the whole life cycle, the product, reporting, verification, use, and the consumer. And in terms of achievements, I think if we do something, you need to be able to measure it. 192 companies have signed so far, more than 85% of the tonnage is being covered. And when you look to the right side of the slide, you will see the little logo. And if you look to the biscuit, now you understand why the biscuit has this strange ribbon around. So I hope you will even more enjoy it. And as I mentioned, reports, so we have an annual report on the output of what the companies, when they sign up to the charter, commit, and all what they're reporting. So over the last 6 years, there is an energy use that went down. CO2 emissions went down, I think, very substantially, by 22%. Waste and water, and we continue to measure those over the next years. The call to look to the future. What are the challenges ahead? There was Rio in 2012. Are we all satisfied? Maybe there was some disappointment, but I think it's important. It continues to set the scene. It continues to make awareness building about the planet, that we only borrow the planet from our children, about the responsibility we have. It's also a mind shift from labor and capital to resource efficiency. This needs to go into the mindset of the public policy, but also of the business in their strategy. Everything has, of course, also been maybe accelerated due to the financial crisis, climate change, and the environment situation. And I think it's important to have also time for the transition. Transition is needed to be less disruptive in the business, and also to maintain a level playing field in Europe. So where will we be in 22? The Commission has set up a resource-efficient roadmap, or the EU flagship initiative for 2020, and I'm pretty sure that Commissioner Potočnik will refer to this. They're speaking about economic opportunities, about improvement of productivity, drive down costs, and boost competition. Concrete examples need to be put behind us, the industry. Where we'll be in 2050? There's the roadmap for moving to low carbon economy, set up by the Commission. How this will look like. But for one thing I know for sure, in 2052 we will have our 100th birthday. What is the call, the thoughts with regard to A.I.S.E and the sustainable cleaning? Our objective is to build on the parts of resource efficiency and sustainable economic growth. So sourcing, and also the other part built into the corporate social responsibility. We need to call on all partners, and I think the handshake we did early on helps in this as well. Because success, in my view, depends on two things. One is on the ability to bring different stakeholders together, and secondly, to be able to communicate in a simple way to the outside what this means. When I talk about communication, it's like an onion. The first around the detergent industry, it's the dark box on the left side, are the value chain around our sector. So the suppliers, the retailers, the professional users, appliance, textile, surface, transport, and the customer. This is the inner circle. We need to work together on how to extract material, how to convert material, and how to use the material. We need the right framework, and for this we need to go to the next part of the onion, so the external stakeholder around us. There we have the NGOs, academia, authorities, national governments, European, and even further on the international. We need the right framework for incentive to help us for the shift in the operation, in this transition, for smarter systems, more jobs, and also to maintain the competitive advantage. And as I showed, Europe is stable, stagnant. We need to keep this. We need to be ensured that the skills and the jobs remains here. And therefore, I'm also calling on the governmental part and say we need the incentive, we need that the sustainability is incorporated in this long-term thinking. Plans to help to support welfare of the people, of the planet, of the environment, and the companies need to be able to capture and to build on those opportunities. So there is a need for a common work together in the private and the public sector to work together. An industry needs to put forward what they are doing. So in conclusion, as I said, it's the ability to build bounds. We need to work to continue together within our inner own network of companies, association, and A.I.S.E. We need to work in close dialogue with all the value chain partners, the next string of the onion, and with all external stakeholders. And one of our next steps will be to make it more official, to set up a kind of stakeholder platform or panel to work more in this view together. And as I said, one part of the success is the ability to work together, and the second one is to communicate. It's if you ask someone in the street, what does sustainability mean? Yes, something about green. I think we need to be able as well to communicate this in very simple words to the outside and to demonstrate in very practical and tangible results what does it mean in practice. And I think with the charter that we are doing, we are able also to demonstrate to the outside that when we talk about sustainability, we also walk this talk by doing it in implementing a specific example, and we would like to do it together with you in full partnership. I thank you.